We explore the fallout from the pandemic, from learning loss to food insecurity.
They have a worry that they're not going to eat this week.
And your child's mental health.
I've seen a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. They need someone constantly being there for them.
This is Chronicle, Back to School. Here are Aaron Guy and Mark Kelly.
Students from Palm Beach County to our Treasure Coast getting ready to go back to class.
Some will come back to a brand new school, and we're inside one of them, the Addison Meisner School in Boca Raton.
Now, this 120,000 square foot campus, it has 57 classrooms, a state-of-the-art media center, a science lab, art, even a music room.
So the school, originally built in 1966, was demolished and rebuilt. It will eventually serve K through 8 students.
Now, Meisner's just one totally rebuilt school this year. The other one, Washington Elementary School in Riviera Beach.
For many kids, this could be their first time back in a traditional school setting in more than a year. At the start of the pandemic, masks were mandatory in all of our local counties, but toward the end of the school year, some districts made it an option.
All right, so as it stands right now in each district, masks are optional. That includes schools in Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, and Okeechobee counties. But once again, the topic of masks is taking center stage.
If you would like to wear a mask or mask your child, that is your right. But you don't have the right to force that on my child.
Masking is a simple, safe, cheap intervention that saves lives.
Parents on both sides recently packing a Palm Beach County School Board meeting to voice their opinions. The Florida governor rejecting the idea.
We're not doing that in Florida, okay? We need our kids to breathe.
Just last week, Governor Ron DeSantis signed an executive order barring school districts from forcing students to mask up, leaving it up to parents now to decide.
It comes after the CDC recommended people wear masks indoors. This goes for teachers, staff, students, and visitors to K through 12 schools, regardless if they are vaccinated. While coronavirus cases surge across the U.S., there is optimism children younger than 12 will soon become eligible for COVID-19 vaccines.
Now, this leaves parents with a critical decision to make. In fact, just recently, federal regulators asked Pfizer and Moderna to expand the number of children ages 5 to 11 included in their vaccine trials in order to help rule out any safety issues. Todd McDermott talked with a local mother who's still undecided.
Ready to make a cake?
We do understand the severity of this virus, being that we had 2 family members hospitalized.
Nicole Cummings also understands she will soon face a choice: what to do when COVID vaccines get approved by the Food and Drug Administration for 9-year-old Milani, who's about to go back to school for the first time in a long time.
She stayed home for the full year because I have an elderly mother as well who has a lot of heart disease and high blood pressure. She had a lot of side effects that we were afraid of. So with my daughter interacting with her a lot, we felt it was better to keep her home rather than to risk her bringing it back into the home and getting sick herself.
Getting sick is a major concern as our children now head to school, but many, if not most parents who got vaccinated themselves will likely approach vaccinating their kids under 12 very differently when that time comes later this year or early next. Nicole, an engineer focused on evaluating data, didn't rush headlong into getting a shot herself when the vaccines first got that emergency use authorization.
I did think about it for a while because it felt, it was a little rushed for me. So I did think about it. I wanted to see a little bit of the data, I wanted to see how other people reacted to it, the side effects. So I did wait a little bit, and then I got it after I saw a few waves of people get it.
Now we all face a new wave, the hypercontagious Delta variant. Infections and hospitalizations among the unvaccinated rocketing upward, just as our children return to school. Are we in a race, Doctor, between vaccines for children and these variants of COVID?
We are, because as the variant becomes more transmissible, more contagious, the so-called percent of people that have to be vaccinated to achieve herd immunity rises.
Pediatricians generally say while Delta is more contagious, it doesn't appear to be more dangerous to children who usually have just mild symptoms if infected, but not always.
The notion that children can't be sick or become very sick with this virus is false. This is a disease which can be severe in children, and if we can prevent it safely, we should prevent it.
And some pediatricians are concerned about what will happen to children who are co-infected with COVID and other common childhood viruses. But parents naturally have their own concerns about possible vaccine side effects in their child.
The risk, she's still developing, she's still a child, she's still growing. So it's the risk of the unknowns.
Dr. Larry Bush oversaw vaccine clinical trials in Palm Beach County and admits that the risk of the unknown makes clinical trials on young children a very different proposition. But that still will not delay the FDA okay for very long.
Well, the companies are looking at enrolling people between the ages of 2 and 12. Obviously, they'll be harder to enroll because there'll be a lot of pushback from parents, particularly as side effects come out in children. There'll be pushback about enrolling their child. So the enrollment will be slower and it will make the trial longer in duration. But I suspect it could happen by the late fall or early winter.
Children have important differences in physiology and in their response to all vaccines when compared to adults. Vaccines often need to be tailored specifically for young children. It's possible vaccine dosage and the time between shots could be different for kids.
If it comes out that it's safe, because I'm not against the science, if we find that it's safe and the trials went well and there's low risk, then I'll consider it.
But if parents want to go beyond government approval, what information should they be looking for to convince them as to whether or not they should vaccinate their children against COVID?
I think that when they hear from the scientists, forget about the government. When they hear from the scientists thinking it's a good idea, they don't work for the government. They're not politically leaning any which way. They're basing it on what they know about children and infections. They're looking out for your child.
For Chronicle Back to School, I'm Todd McDermott.
The Palm Beach County School District, in partnership with the Healthcare District, is making it convenient for families to get a vaccine.
Students, staff, their families can go get their shots at 4 different mobile vaccination clinics this summer. You do not need an appointment, and all will be open through at least August 8th. Go to WPBF.com for times and locations.
Last month, Dr. Donald Fenoy, the Palm Beach County superintendent, resigned.
Well, now, just 2 weeks later, there's a new interim superintendent. Tiffany Kenny sat down with Mike Burke.
Not the easiest time for someone to take over one of the largest school districts in the country. How are you feeling about the challenge ahead?
I'm excited about it. You know, and there's really no easy time. You know, I've been at this for over 30 years, and there's always one challenge or next. Certainly, the more recent challenges with the pandemic have surpassed anything we've experienced. But, you know, we have a great team here, and we have to forge ahead. The kids are counting on us to get back in school, and we're excited about that.
August 10th, kids go back to school. At this point, masks are optional. Do you see that policy changing given the Delta variant, the surge in cases we're seeing, and of course the latest from the CDC recommending that K through 12 kids wear masks?
So I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the Delta variant. You know, I take the CDC's recommendations seriously. It's something I want to continue to monitor. We have a little time here before school starts on the 10th. But, you know, my paramount responsibility is to keep our children and keep our employees safe. I want to have the latest and greatest information before I make a recommendation.
Do you see the district in any way going back to that hybrid model where some kids can learn from home, some kids are back in the classroom?
That would be a last resort. That was very difficult for our teachers, and I really do believe that children are best served in the classroom.
What is the district doing to make sure that students are taken care of with their mental health issues as they come back onto campus? Some haven't been there for a year and a half. There has to be some fear, some concern among a lot of students.
Yes, well, thanks to the voters of Palm Beach County, we're in pretty good shape. The voters were generous. We have an additional tax levy that allows us to pay for a mental health professional in every one of our schools. And we also have federal ESSER funds that we're using to shore up those services.
What is your message to the teachers as they head into another school year with so much uncertainty?
First, I'd like to thank them for hanging in there. It has been tough. You know, they've faced challenges that we never even anticipated. But I've said this to our school board, the strength of our district is our people. And I know we've got great teachers that have continued to rise to the challenge, and I'm confident they had a short summer break, you know, the shortest one on record. I hope they got some rest, and just look forward to seeing them back in the classroom.
The former Palm Beach County superintendent admits the first day of in-person learning last September was one of the scariest. He was criticized for how he handled it. I recently sat down with him for a one-on-one interview. Dr. Donald Fenoy announced his resignation last month, saying he wanted to spend more time with his family. Your advice for the next superintendent?
Always make your decisions in the best interest of children, period. And be wise enough to listen to wise counsel, but always still make your decision.
He's leaving the 10th largest school district in the country. Coming up, I take a look at the school plans on the Treasure Coast and in Okeechobee County.
During the 2020-2021 school year, some students were in class, others learned from home.
And this sparked concerns that some students learning virtually were falling behind and not getting enough attention.
But as I found out, districts were prepared this summer to make sure students were all caught up.
Students missed out on a lot this past school year, from interacting with their friends to one-on-one, in-person instruction.
Smell? Yes. Taste?
Emanuela spent kindergarten learning virtually. Her mom was worried the experience wasn't propelling her forward.
Sounding out the words, knowing what words are, vowels, consonants, all of that was a bit challenging for her. And having to learn it while you are doing it virtually was a bit difficult for her.
She wasn't alone. The Palm Beach County School District created the Summer Acceleration Academy to make sure students got face-to-face learning. There were 50 sites across the district providing programs to students throughout the summer months.
Any unfinished learning that happened, they're making up for it now. And they're with classmates that they love, teachers that they love. They're having a great time.
The Martin County School District took a more accelerated approach as well. They've always offered summer programs, but this summer it reached more students.
We decided to increase our supports and offer summer programming for all students who might need or desire some extra support in the summer.
And they saw a big increase in students needing and wanting help. A big addition was the extended reach to high school students.
Most exciting, though, was an innovative program where we had staff actually reach out and contact students in the high schools to make sure that they were on track for graduation.
The goal of all of these programs was to make sure any areas where students were lacking were assessed, reviewed, and relearned ahead of the next school year, something that gave parents some peace of mind.
It's really appreciated because, as we know, the kids kind of got set back with the pandemic, and being able to keep her mind going, keeping it exercised, I think that is a great, great program.
Both Palm Beach and Martin County School Districts say during summer school, they focused not only on learning, but the social and emotional aspects of returning to class, including how to socialize again.
In 2021, scores on the Florida Standards assessments took a hit, but the most significant learning loss appears to be in math. 51% of students in grades 3 through 8 performed at or above a level 3, which is considered satisfactory. That's down from 61% in 2019, which is the last time the students took the exam. Now, geometry scores decreased by 11 percentage points. Algebra 1 performance fell by 13. And when we take a closer look in our area at math scores for grades 3 through 8, we saw scores drop in all 5 counties. Palm Beach County taking the biggest hit, dropping by 15 percentage points. Indian River County saw the smallest decline at 7 percentage points.
Next on Chronicle Back to School, mental health and the pandemic.
I've seen a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. This new school year coming in is going to be huge for us.
The simple conversations getting students back on the right track, plus hardship and hunger. The programs aimed at ending the stigma surrounding food insecurity. All day long, we've teamed up with the United Way of Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, and Okeechobee counties for a back-to-school day of giving. These organizations provide millions of dollars to dozens of programs to make sure students have all of the tools they need to be successful in school. You still have a little more time to donate. The number to call is 561-364-3245. Your donation will stay in the county you live in to directly benefit the kids in your community.
Once they return to us in the fall.
Sometimes all we need is an extra little push to help us achieve our goals. And for some students, it's found outside of school.
That's right. Caroline Coles shows us how mentors and mentees are changing each other's lives.
Growing up, 18-year-old Charlie Alexis was juggling his busy life in Lake Worth.
I had 2 jobs. So one job I had to wake up every morning at 1 a.m. to go and deliver newspapers, and then I'd get home about around 5, 6 a.m. And that was a 7 days a week job. So I worked that every day. And then I also worked at Little Caesars.
Charlie, who was raised by his single mother, was always working to provide for his family. He is one of 6 siblings, so by nature, he's used to supporting others. But when the pandemic hit, Charlie found himself needing that support.
Schooling was easier in person, but when it had to become online, it got tough, as in procrastination, not wanting to get up to go to school, not seeing your friends every day, because believe it or not, your peers help you try harder and make you a better person. So without that, I was lost in the beginning.
Lost, but with the help of his mentor, Bill Marinette, who's more like a father to Charlie, he was able to successfully get through high school and earn a full ride to Lynn University in Boca Raton. The two are no doubt different, but it's their differences changing their outlook on life.
When I would go outside, if I would see a Caucasian or a white person, I would just tend to fade away, like want to take 1 or 2 steps back. But now, knowing not everybody's racist, with Bill, I learned that I can approach you.
Charlie, who I respect, has another perspective, right? The black person's perspective in this world, where he's afraid to walk down the street late at night, even though he just came back from basketball practice, right? He's afraid he's in a store shoplifting because he's got a bag, he's going to be arrested for shoplifting. And he's explained events. I'd be afraid too.
The mentoring program called Path to College is designed to help low-income, high-achieving students like Charlie get into college. But Bill managed to help him in so many other ways. He gave Charlie a head start on his career path of becoming a pilot by giving him his first small plane ride. He also challenged him in a classroom and taught him how to play golf. The two say this program helped them in ways they would have never imagined. And other mentoring programs like Youth Empowered to Prosper is also helping students in tremendous ways, especially those dealing with their mental health. The need of mentors and therapists have soared during the pandemic. Catalina Toledo is a 10th grade reading teacher at Santa Lucia's Community High School in Lantana, where she graduated. She now mentors children in the same place where she grew up.
I've seen a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. This new school year coming in is going to be huge for us to be able to be here for these kids. Some of these kids were literally at home all year long, dealing with the pandemic.
It's going to be weird going back to school though.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready to graduate.
18-year-old Fedeline Ambrose also dealt with losing her cousin Sean to suicide. It took a serious toll on her emotions, but the tragedy encouraged her to open up even more to Catalina.
You gotta stay focused.
I do.
This year's gonna be tough.
Working with Fedeline on her self-esteem.
My confidence before, I was at a 0. Now it's like, it's up there. It's off the charts. I feel like with her, I feel comfortable just telling her anything without feeling judged.
And instilling confidence in Fedeline was not a tough task.
Sometimes we just talked and it was just a conversation. Every day we did social and emotional learning. How are you? It's just a matter of a question. How's your day today? That's huge. We don't think of it, but it is huge.
And Catalina, who's also a mom, believes it's just talking that's really helping students accelerate in school.
I've seen these girls in this program have these mentors with them and grow so much, where we know it's there, but they need someone constantly being there for them. So now you gotta work extra hard.
Yeah, I do.
Because you need to cross that stage so I can cry.
Giving students that extra push during a time they needed more than ever. For Chronicle Back to School.
No, I'm proud of you. Seriously, I am proud of you.
I'm Caroline Coles.
Those words go a long way, something she'll remember forever. And many of these mentor programs say that they are in need of more volunteers for this school year. To learn more, there's a link to the United Way of Palm Beach County on our website, WPBF.com. Other programs local families are relying on now more than ever have to do with putting food on the table.
And all local districts are providing breakfast and lunch for students during the upcoming school year. As Gianna Caserta explained, some districts are taking these meal programs now even further.
They would grab their beans and then head over to vegetables and fruit.
For millions of families, the pandemic brought financial strain, hardship, and hunger.
I have a lot of students that regularly ask me, am I going to get food this week?
It's a heartbreaking realization, but Feeding America projects more than 13 million children may not know where or when they'll get their next meal.
They feel so insecure about their food. Even though I might have been feeding them for 2 years every week, they have a worry that they are not going to eat this weekend.
Palm Beach County school district officials say families in need of food assistance tend to be even higher than reported because many avoid the application process for free lunches out of an embarrassment or privacy concerns. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is trying to end the stigma around food insecurity by continuing to offer breakfast and lunch to every child for free through the 2021-2022 school year.
It makes a huge difference because in many cases we find even those children that have applied for meal benefits and are receiving meal benefits and need these benefits, they need to be able to get food at school. Sometimes they don't come and participate because they're uncomfortable, that they feel that they need to have this resource and they're uncomfortable with it. So in this case, we've found that participation went up overall last year by 11%.
Some districts also offer additional food for students through their supper program and weekend backpack program.
This is a bag that we deliver to our students' classrooms every Friday. And essentially inside is 2 cereals, a Long Life milk, a lunch, mac and cheese, another lunch, maybe SpaghettiOs or beef stew, some rice.
In 2019, Palm Beach County had 26 backpack sites, and now they're managing over 53 sites across the district. The backpacks are packed by volunteers at the Palm Beach County Food Bank. Officials say more than 60% of students in the county qualify for the program, which has increased from 1,200 students to more than 3,000 for this coming school year. For Chronicle Back to School, I'm Gianna Caserta.
The school district of Palm Beach County is in need of food service workers. They're looking to fill more than 100 positions before the start of the school year. Now, the district says shift lengths are flexible. The pay is $10.61 an hour. So if you're interested, they're asking you to apply as soon as possible. You can just head to palmbeachschools.org/careers for more information.
A student-led project at Glade Central Community High School is combating food insecurities. The Muck Market is a food pantry serving its students and staff. It's run by FFA members at the school. It was made possible through a $1,200 grant in addition to partnerships with the Palm Beach County Food Bank and local farmers. The Muck Market opened in May and has already benefited more than 800 people.
Coming up, a child fights off a man accused of trying to kidnap her while waiting for the school bus. The steps local parents can take to report their concerns and move their child's bus stop. Plus, making the most of a challenging situation. How school districts are maximizing the use of technology inside the classroom after being forced to go virtual. But first, a message from Okeechobee County Superintendent Ken Kenworthy.
This is a reset year, a refresh, a reset, and so we can't wait to get back to more of a traditional kind of setting that we're used to. We're excited about a new year. We want to welcome everybody back. We are particularly excited about our summer programs and how well they went. We had record numbers of students attending our summer programs, and we hope that that's just a taste of what they're going to experience once they return to us in the fall.
Highest priority going into the school year.
Thousands of students ride the bus to and from school each and every day.
But what if you think your child's bus stop is unsafe? What can you do? Here's Tiffany Kenny.
Every day, Florida parents send their children to a local school bus stop with peace of mind. According to the National Safety Council, school buses are 172 times safer than your family car, 8 times safer than flying, and 4 times safer than city buses. But then stories like this happen. In May, a man in Escambia County tried to kidnap an 11-year-old girl from her bus stop. The girl fought off the man, but she says he had approached her at that same stop 2 weeks earlier. I asked a local school superintendent about how parents can ensure their children's bus stops are safe.
So we typically maintain stops over the course within the particular neighborhoods, and our transportation department will make the changes and modifications based on impact for families. So there's a lot of construction going on in every county. Sometimes that construction requires us to move a stop, and we get that information both from the bus drivers as well as the transportation department and families.
Indian River County Superintendent Dr. David Moore says all it takes is a phone call to request a change. Transportation officials will conduct an assessment to determine the best course of action. Also, during August, bus drivers are on the lookout for unsafe bus stops.
We run the routes prior to the opening of school, so during summer, routes obviously change because there's significantly less students accessing transportation for schools. But as we open up schools, bus drivers will go in, physically go to each stop, take a look at it, make sure nothing's drastically changed or it's an unsafe environment.
Here are the numbers you need to know if you have concerns about your child's bus stop. In Indian River County, the number is 772-978-8801. In Martin County, call 772-219-1287. The Palm Beach County Transportation Department can be reached at 561-357-1110. In Okeechobee County, call 863-462-5146. And finally, in St. Lucie County, the number to call is 772-204-7433. For Chronicle Back to School, I'm Tiffany Kenny.
A couple years ago, St. Lucie County started using an app. Here Comes the Bus. It helps parents view the real-time location of their district school buses. If you missed any of the phone numbers, you could go to WPBF.com. We also posted links for you.
The Palm Beach County School District says it will follow regular bus routes this year. While masks will be optional, bus drivers will create a seating chart. The district says it will attempt to sanitize buses between each route, especially those high-touch surfaces.
Straight ahead, one local district hit with tragedy after losing 3 staff members to suicide. The service is now being offered as we prepare to start a new school year. Plus, with COVID-19 cases taking off again, how Treasure Coast schools plan to track students from the school bus to the classroom. But first, a message from St. Lucie County Superintendent Wayne Gent.
You just have to be prepared. This thing has been so like a roller coaster. And so our mindset has been, we've got to prepare for the worst. And if it just seems that each year when school's going to open, something happens, whether it's a hurricane or a storm or, and right now the pandemic. So I'm very confident that we're prepared to open schools. Our schools will be safe. We demonstrated that last year. I have every confidence that will continue this year. But we take it very, very serious. It's our highest priority going into the school year.
Fit the kids in your community. You're watching Chronicle Back to School with Mark Kelly and Aaron Guy.
Schools across our area had incredible pressures this past year.
Oh, you believe it. I talked with all the Treasure Coast superintendents, Okeechobee County too, to see what new hurdles they're now facing. First up, Martin County. With days to go before the new year, Martin County Superintendent Dr. John Millay says their staffing is pretty typical. Still, help is always needed.
We're working hard right now to recruit new teachers, as are all school districts throughout the state of Florida and our region. So if people are interested in applying, we love to have some new faces, and whether it's a teacher or it's a bus driver, school secretary, cafeteria, we need maintenance, we need good staff that can be great with our kids in all of our buildings.
Masks and vaccines in schools are once again center stage as COVID-19 case numbers start to take off again. Although some parts of the country are returning to mandates, St. Lucie County Superintendent Wayne Gent says they will keep masks and vaccines optional, but encouraged.
There's going to be a lot of back-to-school activities, and at many of these activities, there will be chances for families to get their children that are age-appropriate vaccinated if they choose to do so, which again, we encourage them to do that. We just feel like the more the vaccinations, the better, based upon the science that's out there, particularly from the CDC and the Pediatrics Association.
With all the focus on fighting COVID, many superintendents are concerned over lagging academics. However, in Indian River County schools, initial state reports show students fared well. The district moved up 14 points in the state rankings.
We're very excited to receive that data, really to help us inform how to get the appropriate level of resources to students to move us in a way that ensures that we are a very successful school system.
And in Okeechobee County, this year has been a somber one. 3 staff members died by suicide. Superintendent Ken Kenworthy says the district is now offering confidential mental health services to staff as well.
COVID was stressful on everybody, and I can tell you that our teachers were no different. Their work changed, their life changed as well. I mean, they had personal issues that they were dealing with, just like everybody else. You know, when the world shut down, we really got to work in the school districts.
Well, now school leaders are hard at work registering students. At the height of the pandemic, 1,400 students chose virtual learning. Kenworthy expects that to be around 500 when school starts next week.
Don't wait to the beginning of school or that first day of school and show up at the office and say, hey, I'm ready here for a schedule, because that's a pretty chaotic time for us. So the more decisions that can be made prior to school starting, the smoother it's going to be for both parents and students when we begin on August the 10th.
In Okeechobee, kindergarten enrollment is also surprising district leaders. As of 2 weeks ago, there were around 300 students registered, and that number is normally around 500.
Meanwhile, new construction could start at a new high school in Okeechobee this year. The current one is 55 years old and has flooding problems. They've been working on funding for 6 years. It will cost $66 million and it will serve 1,700 kids. The United Way of Martin County is making sure students are ready when they return to class.
Last month, there was a Tools for Success school supply drive. And for the first time, the United Way will be able to provide supplies to every single school from VPK all the way through 12th grade. Now, officials say programs like this normally cost more than $100,000 without the help of the community.
To know that teachers were spending upwards of $500 from their own pocket to be able to buy school supplies breaks my heart. So us being able to do this program for our community allows students to start learning on day one.
So get this, the school district says it needs 260,000 pencils to fill each classroom. For many teachers, paying out of pocket for classroom supplies is not uncommon. But thanks to a former teacher, there's now a resource where thousands of educators can go to get funding. GrantWatch.com currently has around 3,000 education-based grants available.
In March 2020, school districts were making last-minute decisions to keep students home.
They scrambled to make sure that more than 210,000 students in the Palm Beaches and on the Treasure Coast had a computer and reliable internet access.
The districts pulled it off with drive-through distribution sites, helping students get set up to learn remotely.
But now the students are back in the classroom, we wanted to know, what are schools doing with all this newly acquired technology?
Getting each student a laptop during a global pandemic was not easy. From shipping delays to technical problems, the technology challenge was very real. Now, where are those laptops and how are our tax dollars being used? St. Lucie County School District's Chief Operations Officer says it's forced them to reassess how they use technology in their curriculum.
It's just another tool that enhances our learning that we provide to our students, so they'll be leveraging it in their regular core courses.
Perhaps a positive of the pandemic? Better, newer technology for students and teachers.
We felt it as an opportunity to enhance the curriculum that our students are currently using in their classrooms. So we leveraged that as an opportunity to relook at how we were delivering instruction to all students.
Other districts are following. Martin and Okeechobee County, for example, teachers plan to use the computers to access many online platforms and resources while doing in-classroom coursework. And perhaps a big gain during the pandemic happened in the Palm Beach County School District. A big challenge was making sure students could get online. This kicked off a huge campaign. Through multiple partnerships, the county was able to make sure no matter your zip code, you had access to Wi-Fi.
The districts also told me many safety protocols are still in place. We're told if a student tests positive for COVID-19 or has contact with someone who's infected, they'll have a seamless transition to remote learning.
The transition to remote learning is just one step in the district's plan to handle positive COVID-19 cases. Now, each district partners with the health department in their county to do contact tracing and determine which students and staff members need to quarantine and also for how long. Martin County Superintendent Dr. John Millay says they keep track of where the students are from the moment the child steps onto the school bus for the day.
On our school buses, we not only have safe routes, we have safe seating. So we track where kids are seated. In the classrooms, we track where students will be as well. And if needed, in the lunchroom, we may go that far if needed. If we start seeing an increase of cases, we reserve that option.
The superintendents of each school district tell us they will continue monitoring cases and make adjustments as needed.
Still to come, a method of teaching used in Florida for more than 2 decades. Now catching the attention of more parents. How Florida Virtual is keeping up with this turning point in education. All day long, we've teamed up with the United Way of Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, and Okeechobee counties for a back-to-school day of giving. These organizations provide millions of dollars to dozens of programs to make sure students have all of the tools they need to be successful in school. You still have a little more time to donate. The number to call is 561-364-3245. Your donation will stay in the county you live in to directly benefit the kids in your community.
Move children in a positive direction.
Before the pandemic, most students from the Palm Beaches to the Treasure Coast had never experienced virtual school.
Yeah, though it's been offered in the state of Florida for as long as 22 years, it opened many parents' eyes to a whole new way of learning.
For many, school life shifted from learning behind the desk to learning from the kitchen table.
By working with the virtual platform, you're able to really get to know your students. So making those meaningful connections, just showing kindness. Kindness goes a long way.
Summer Hooten is a Spanish teacher for Florida Virtual School. She worked in a brick and mortar for years, made the switch, and never looked back. And so have a lot of parents and students.
We did see an increase in enrollment going into the school year with about a 57% increase in course requests for the flex option and about a 98% increase for our full-time schools.
That was for the 2020-2021 school year. And this year, it's not expected to be that big of an increase.
What we're hearing from a lot of those families now is that because of the experience they had here, the success that their student had, they're choosing to come back to us, even if they're not as concerned about those health concerns.
On the Treasure Coast, students have another virtual option. For 10 years, the St. Lucie Public School District has offered the Mosaic Digital Academy St. Lucie Virtual.
Mosaic Digital Academy went from about 150 students to over 600, almost 700 students.
Both schools say the pandemic gave parents and students a peek at an alternative way to learn.
When students find the right learning environment, it does prepare them for the real world. I think this last year has helped our teachers learn how to use technology to really enhance education.
Florida Virtual said when they noticed a surge last year, they had to race to hire more teachers. They think the numbers will stay about the same this year, and they should have adequate staff for classes.
Next,
definitely one of the most unreal seasons, probably in football history.
From restrictions to resurgence, the return to normalcy on Friday nights, driving added energy down the football field. But first, a message from Indian River County Superintendent Dr. David Moore.
I think the school system here in Indian River County is in a much better place. We were forced to take on challenges and develop new ways of work that we never thought we would have to do. But as a result of that, we really identified how resilient we as an organization can be in creating new pathways and new structures to educate children. So as we went through that constant of change over the course of the pandemic, we're now leveraging our ability to think differently about everything that we're doing as a school system to recreate the schooling experience for students to be a national model on how to move children in a positive direction.
Had everyone back. So we're excited about that.
Local school districts are finalizing plans when it comes to COVID safety protocols for the upcoming fall sports season.
Sports Director Shane Wright has more on the high school athletics plan and how one school is preparing.
The word normal has become somewhat relative these days. Last August, normal seemed more about masks and mandates than fans and football.
Definitely one of the most unreal seasons, probably in football history.
Most teams across the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast had their seasons cut in half due to the pandemic. Games ripe with guidelines.
If you're on the sidelines, you had to mask up. As far as practices, we stayed masked up. We were broken down into different pods of kids.
Ray Gordon, director of football operations at Dwyer High School, says fans also had to be distanced, and there were only 3 stadiums being used in Palm Beach County to host games.
It was hard, because we were, restricted with ticket sales. Obviously seating was very limited.
This year, he says, as of now, schools will be able to host games again.
To be able to get back at your home stadium and your home field, it brings an added energy.
It's energy he hopes won't be sucked out again by the new Delta variant of COVID-19 coating the country. It's something Ray hopes won't hamper the season.
That's something that, I think we all keep an eye on just because we all have our own families, so of course, we want the betterment for our families as well as the program in general.
The Palm Beach County School District has released its COVID-19 protocol, which includes contact tracing, isolation, and quarantine protocols for teams as determined by the district and Department of Health. But Ray just wants normal to actually mean normal once again.
On Friday nights when, you're down on the field on the sidelines and you happen to, look behind you and just see, all your friends and family and the community support, it brings the energy to another level.
For Chronicle Back to School, I'm Shane Wright.
Now, in July, the Miami Dolphins helped kick off the upcoming school year with a one-of-a-kind football festival. Dozens of students and their families, they came out to Pompey Park for the Back to School Football Fun Fest in Delray Beach. Bounce houses, an obstacle course. Kids even had the chance to learn the basics of football from former Dolphins players.
Still ahead, teaming up canines and kids. The Judgment-Free Zone helping to improve reading skills on the Treasure Coast. But first, a message from Martin County Superintendent Dr. John Millay.
At the start of this, you're trying to remind everyone we're going to be okay, that it's going to be okay. And sometimes you're not certain what that's going to exactly mean. You go through hurdles and ups and downs, but it has been okay. That if you keep that positive attitude, if people stay flexible, we follow our plan, that keeps people safe and that keeps learning going on. I want to thank parents. They've been so flexible last year. They worked with us and we kept that relationship. And I want to ask them again to continue to be flexible because we're going to have all the kids back on campus. And it's been about a year since we have ever had everyone back. So we're excited about that.
There's a reading program available to kids that gives them a non-judgmental listener. Pause to Read at the Treasure Coast Humane Society pairs up struggling readers with trained therapy dogs. They partner with local boys and girls clubs and some schools. The program is also run at Blake Library and House of Hope in Stuart.
A local third grader gave up her toys for school supplies.
Gotta love stories like this, right? 8-year-old Lucida Cruz has been helping teachers at University Preparatory Academy in West Palm Beach since she was in kindergarten.
Now this year they decided to go big. With a little help, she was able to buy and stuff 138 backpacks as well as 20 bags full of supplies.
I showed her a list that the teachers needed help with supplies. So I asked her, let's come up with ideas to go shopping, and she came up on her own of trading her toys for supplies.
The 8-year-old also has 2 Facebook groups to help clothe the homeless.
After months of uncertainty, this school year will start to look a lot more like what we're all used to. But there are still unique challenges we're facing every day.
We'll continue to keep you updated on everything going on in your child's district leading up to the first day of school.
And we will have complete team coverage starting Tuesday morning as students head back to class in Palm Beach, St. Lucie, Indian River, Okeechobee counties. Now Martin County, you head back Wednesday, and we're going to be with you as you're all getting ready.
Bright and early. We want to thank you for watching Chronicle Back to School. Good luck to you on your first day.
And we leave you with a message from Palm Beach County Interim Superintendent Mike Burke.
We are rolling out the red carpet for you. We welcome you back. We want all families to feel at home in our campuses, and we're here to support you. And there's no more important job than educating their children.